so comforting. Won't choose, you want me. Take my hand and know me better. I know you love me. That's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me. Take my hand and know me better. I know you love me. That's so comforting. But we are stuck except you take my hand and know me better. Hey, know me better, love me better. Hey, take me better, love me better. It's the transformational parenting show with Mute Olori.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the program Transformational Parenting. My name is Mute Olori, your parenting coach. So how has the journey been? You know, someone mentioned to me some time ago that, she can't just wait for her children to grow and then they all leave the house because she will have peace. And I'm like, parenting is a journey that never ends. You know, it's a school you go into, just the way they say about marriage, that you never graduate. You never, because you're moving from one stage to the other. Even when they are grown and they become mothers, you become a grandmother or a grandfather, the journey continues. So if you're thinking about that, take it away from your mind. Just look at ways, to enjoy this journey called parenting. And remember, parenting is all about you, not about the person that you are trying to nurture, raise, or bring up, as that child in your space. And so that brings me to what we're talking about today. The child in your space, whether as a step parent or as a parent, that child in your space, what is happening? Your actions and reactions, your decision, how does it affect that child in your space? And we'll be running a series on step parenting. Today we're going to be talking to a child who is a step child. What were the challenges that these children who are raised by others who are not biological parents, what is it like for them? What are the challenges? What are the effects? I mean, does it have any effect on them when they grow up? Does it change their mindset? Does it affect their concept or perception to life? That we'll be talking about on the show today. I'll take a short break. When I come back, you'll be meeting my guest. You're welcome.
It's the transformational parenting show with Mute Olori.
Welcome back. It's the Transformational Parenting Show, and I am Mute Olori, your parenting coach. So today we're talking about the child who is a stepchild. In the home, what does it feel like finding yourself in that space? And my guest today is a fitness coach, an entrepreneur, one who speaks various languages, and she has done so much for herself. But before getting here, what was the effect of having to be parented by someone who's not a biological parent? My guest is Mobo Akpotu. Mobo, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Mrs. Mote.
Thank you. So tell me, how did you find yourself having another parent who is not your biological parent?
Okay, for me, my both parents were together until they had issues. and unfortunately my mom left. Then we had a stepmom. She came in with the intention of, is her right, is her home, like she's coming to fight. You could see the violence in her, but at the first stage she was calm. She didn't release the venom, knowing that she was going to deal with just kids trying to grow from the age of 8 going to 10, then.
So how many were you? Was it just you? And
No, it
how
wasn't
old were
only
you
me.
at that time? Okay.
It wasn't only me. I had brothers and sisters, and I was going to 10 at that time. So I think I have an idea what it takes to have a stepmother and your mom's not there and you're living with your dad and a stepmother. So I know what it means at that time.
So how old were your brothers, sisters?
They were the other ones, so they already knew what was happening.
How old were they, like, for average?
Oh, we should be looking at 25 up, or
Okay.
30 and
Oh,
up,
so your
like I said.
parents were not married for that long before they decided to separate?
Yeah, they were married for that long, and something that we didn't know about came up, so I didn't know because I was too young. So that's what happened.
Now, was it a premonition, or is it just that you just assumed, oh, this woman is coming into this relationship with anger, ready to fight, ready to own, or there were things you saw her display that made you come to that conclusion?
As a growing up kid, there are things that we saw that we couldn't speak about, but you could see the actions from where she's coming from. So you already was able to draw your conclusion, what's going to happen if the words come to shore. So that's what it is. So we saw these things already premeditated. It's like we're watching this home video, the script already, but we want to give her the benefit of that, like she's going to calm down or she will not act the way we are thinking her to. But to our greatest surprise, it came out the way we premeditated.
Now, some children growing up in your the kind of space you grew up to,
Yes.
what were some of the things you think they went through? Or
There's a lot of damage itself if not well taken care of, not well managed by both parents. There's a lot of damage itself. When the father is not in the house, she behaves her true self. You could see a clear example that she'll give the first kids food that has been there for 4 to 5 days to eat, while she makes fresh food for her own children.
Hey, transformational.
Sometimes I feel that they see teachers to be like mates, housemates, to take care of them, take care of their children, and to obey every instruction. A parent will come into the school, insult the teacher in the presence of the students or the presence of the pupils, and in situations like that, the teacher will lose respect in the presence of that child. So this
Every wise parent, be it single parent or a home where the mother and father are together, don't give the children that bridge. Let there be no opening for them to just find a place to manipulate the two of you and then come in to cause problems. I think that is the number one problem.
What I see most parents do and what I used to do, I would flog the child and then I would take the mop and clean myself.
But what about you've told the child several times, don't spill water? The child does it. In fact, sometimes it looks as if it's intentional that the child would intentionally spill water. So are you saying that you only discipline when the child does
there must
wrong?
be a relationship between the teacher and the child. You must love what you are doing, because if you don't love what you are doing, you cannot tolerate the children that you are handling. A teacher in the classroom having a relationship with the child, it means you should first of all try to know the difference in the children in your classes, the methodology in taking, because what is good for one might actually not be the same.
How old were your children when, your stepchildren when you came in? And I know they're quite grown now. First, how old were they, and then how were you able to connect? So some people say it's easier when they are.
I think most of the difficulties we face in some of these assignments is because we want to take it by our power. If you're a Muslim, pray to God. Pray to your
They were
God.
teenagers
They
already.
were not really, yeah, they were teenagers. One was 10, the other one was 8, as at the time I took them. But they were grown enough to know what was good and
And
bad.
to know that you are not their mother.
They were grown enough to know that I'm not their mother.
Okay.
So it was, I think, for me, if you ask me, I think I made up my mind. I took them into the hands of God in prayers. That was my number one
Bringing
anchor.
awareness to all these things, because if you don't know how you used to be, you can't know the way forward. So when parents bring awareness to how it is, how it was during their childhood, so how can I do better? What is the way forward? You have to do a reset of your blueprint. That's what I call it, your parenting blueprint. Okay. So when they do that, they find that it's liberating. So they can actually choose to do things differently. Not because our parents were wrong, that was the way.
It's the transformation of parenting show with
When the father of the house come back after 3 weeks of work, she will go back to herself as if she's cooking for the whole family to eat. And that is damaging, because the kids you're doing that to at that time, they don't know what's going on or how they wronged you. If she has even come and showed us a little bit of love and affection, or accepted us, yes, these are my husband's children, before I started giving birth to mine, it would have been easy to cope and accept everything that she wants to do, because already we accept ourselves the way we are. We loved her a bit, and a little level of trust will now come in that, yeah, we can call her our mom, because our mom was not there at that time. But that wasn't there. It was this give me, I give you kind of lifestyle. Go and do stuff, you know, that you could easily handle with a blender. You ask the younger one to go and blend it in a grinding stone, and your kids are there. You can't do that to them. After that thing you want to use to cook, maybe pepper, tomato or something, you pour it on the child's body. It stigmatizes the child for life. She cannot forget it. I remember a scenario where my younger one had to make pap for my step younger one. The pap wasn't ready on time, and all she could do was to pour it on my sister's body, the hot pap. And even up to today, we talk about it, because we just remember and we just say, this woman, I wish she could change. I wish she didn't do this to us. You can imagine what will be happening to her. I suffer the most right now. I, for one, I suffer the most because I was called some various kind of names that a mother would not want to call her own child. And you will not give me one cubicle meat to eat. I feel really bad. I feel irritated. I feel there's this kind of hate that comes when I even see her as I'm old like this. And it has given me this edge that if I'm going out and I want to eat with my friends, you can't offer me one meat, I won't eat the food. So I have that thing in my mindset. And the kind of level of action that she displayed just made me to I don't want to use the word hate on TV, just regret the action. If only she can just do better or do right, at least a little bit of love to these children, that innocent children that you came to meet in their own mother's home without even knowing what they did to you. You transfer the level of hate and anger to them. So it's not a good thing at all. Most people will say, learn to forgive and forget. Yes, there's a room to forgive if the person you're talking about forgiveness to accept it, which is the acceptability of what I've done, knowing what I've done and what I've done wrong, and accept and want to make amends for what I've done. But that is not the case. It does keep going on and on and on and on. So please, I can never mention on air. So it damages the mind of the person that you're doing it to, because people live in the same house until he or she grows and go to university and leave the house for you.
Now, some people would say things like, for every action, there is a reaction. And I'm not saying it's an excuse, but probably when she came in, the house, the acceptability you talked about didn't come from you people. You remember, she's the one coming from the outside.
Yes.
Was there acceptability for her?
No.
Do you think that the actions she made turned her to become someone else I mean,
let me take the word from you. Going to a home that you've not been before, and you already saw grown-up kids, adult. As an adult that you are, or a mother you want to be to these kids, there's a level of sitting down. At that time, I'll be your stepmother. Oh. I don't know what your father and mother went through. Please, can we be together? I'm not saying there was no small 3% of togetherness. There was. But at a point in time, everything changed.
Okay, one more time. You guys are so intelligent. Oh my God. All right, one more time. Who came to your school? Clap for yourselves. You felt bad. And you wanted to get revenge. Please, let's clap. That's the kind of feeling. You feel sad, you feel bad, and you want to revenge. Any other person who wants to share? Yes. So angry, I wanted to beat that person back. Yes. That's the feeling. Tell me, sweetheart. Yes. How are you feeling? Morning, you felt like somebody was mocking you, and then you felt like slapping the person. And they'll say, don't slap, don't fight. Oh, here you are. Being molested, maltreated. Yes, tell me what happened to you.
My name is Megan Obioro, and if someone bullied me, I would just beat that person and say,
Okay, what about you?
when I was bullied by my cousin, I beat him up like there was no tomorrow.
Oh my God! You wanted to send him to the hospital? Let me read this together. The bully is anyone who pushes others down to push themselves up. Number two, go left Alright, so when you bully small children, the effect is more severe. It's like you telling a young person, if you like long problem or low self-esteem. Exactly. Okay, so thank you. It can lead to depression, poor school performance, and many other negative results. So when someone is bullying you, what is this person trying to do? To make you feel low about your self-esteem.
It's the Transformational Parenting Show with Mute Olori.
So what the kind of things you went through, and how did that affect you then and now?
Okay, then, when I was growing up, it was a painful experience. It's not what you could relieve just like that. I will give you a scenario whereby someone is calling you a name that is not yours, that at the end of it, she's giving you your own pot, your own plate, your spoon, your cup to eat, differentiating the goat from the sheep, like calling you a name that your mother and father did not give to you. And when the father of the home comes, when we report this issue to this man, he will tell you, you people are just talking. You really did not really want this woman. I've already gotten married to her. What will I now do now? But we're telling you that this thing that the man is doing to this particular child of yours is not good. A time came when I was always in the hospital, back to back. You go to church on Sunday, they will admit me. Friday, they will discharge me. Sunday, I'm back in the hospital again because of the kind of treatment I'm getting from this particular woman. And at a point in time, I felt like, if this is the life, let me just accept it. But that was not the case. I fought through my way, went to the university, and I was out of the house for good.
So you were just looking forward to
just
getting
leave
out of
that
this
environment
and leave. Now, there are a lot of children in this situation going through. People don't seem to understand. You know, they say, oh, probably you don't want the parents. And the fathers also would, or the mothers, depend on who is coming from where, would say, look, you're telling lies, you're painting this picture. Is it really like that?
It's really true. That is the truth. Because both parents are not always at home. When you want to tell your dad, this is what is going on, he will tell you, oh, don't go to Jerry, you're always being stubborn. You are too stubborn. You are this. You are just being negative. You don't want to learn. You are not ready to just love this woman. And you're trying to love and even care for this woman. But her own case is not like that.
I see you're still hurt. Was it that bad? How did it affect you mentally, emotionally? How did it define the person I am sitting with right now?
It took the grace of God for me to accept that into reality. That's what I went through as a child. It's painful. It's painful, and it still hurts me up to today. Having a stepmom maltreating not only me, my sisters, my brothers and sisters, and treating us as if we're garbage in our own father's house is difficult. And name calling, giving you food that has been stayed for 4 days, and you give our children fresh food. How do you cope with things like that? And who can you talk to that will believe you at that time? Nobody wants to listen. They'll tell you you're lying, you're not serious, you're just being stubborn. But today, it is what it is.
What was the relationship between you and her children, irrespective of her behavior?
They were growing up. We're growing up together, so we saw everything, and they saw it themselves. You cannot change from black.
Did it affect your relationship with them?
Yes. We're not talking right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's that bad.
Okay. So for somebody watching you who went through what you went through, but today you're standing, what will you advise that child living in a home that's that toxic? What will you advise? And for the parents, what advice do you have for them?
If I am to advise the father, if it's the father or the mother coming in together to marry and already have kids, there should be a level of acceptance. Learn to accept these kids for who they are. It's not their fault. Don't transfer the anger of what you went through. Maybe you had a fight with the previous wife or the previous man and on those kids. No, it's not your fault. They didn't do anything. They did not. So don't transfer the anger to them. Learn to accept it. When there's acceptance in the home, before you don't talk about love, don't even give us love 10%. Give us 2%. We're okay.
And for the child, what would you say?
For the child, just respect. Respect. And get ready to learn. Either the hard way or the good way. Respect.
Well, thank you for being my guest. I'm going to be having you on the program once again. Thank you very much. Well, it's tough. Life is never easy. But we can make it easy when we learn to respect each other, when we learn to love each other, when we learn to accept the fact that we're here now and there's nothing we can do about it. So if you're a child going through that situation, talk to someone. It's important to find somebody to talk to. You can send us an email on transformationalparenting@gmail.com. You reach out to me on my Facebook page, Mute Olori. Let somebody know what you're going through. Because the fact that you have to have emotional breakdown and psychological breakdown, the spiral effect is so much that society would be the one to pay for it. But we don't want to do that. My name is Mute Olori. I'll see you again next week. God bless you. Bye-bye.
I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand and know me better. I know you love me, that's so comforting. Won't choose, you want me, take my hand.